welcome to the Sharon and Joe Show. My name is Sharon.
Hi guys, my name is Joe.
So Joe and I went out earlier. We had gone hiking and we were talking in the car, and we were talking about how we're so sick of talking about the narcissist. We're just sick of dealing with the narcissist. And what we really want to do, and I'm not just specifically speaking about making videos, but just we want to live our life. We want to live our life narc-free. So today we thought we'd talk a little bit about life after narcissism, that it actually exists. There really is light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, and there's no pun intended, because I hope Sharon remembers to put for her little thumbnail for the video. We went hiking today and we had to walk under this big tunnel that there's a river flowing through it, and to see some waterfalls, and the light at the end of the tunnel was just a beautiful reminder of what the reality is, because it's not some false hope or gimmick just to keep you alive and breathing. The nightmare is over. It was no dream. Your dreams never got broken or shattered. You were in a freaking nightmare, and you faced your worst fears, and you're still breathing, and that in itself, respect for everybody out there, and no disrespect for the people that lost their lives. God did for me what I couldn't do for myself. It's just much love and admiration for anybody still breathing, and kudos to those that are not only surviving but thriving.
A lot of times what I like to do with my channel is talk about, I know that you can get through this. I know you can deal with the narcissist in your life. You can be free and live a beautiful life, because it happened to me and it happened to Joe.
And our credentials, we were married to these monsters for 40 years combined. We were in the desert, man, for 40 years, lost, looking for the damn promised land. We were single parents. You've heard Sharon's story, you've heard mine. It was no joke, man. It was close to homelessness. There was no hope. The irony is I can speak for me, I had to be hopeless with the relationship, quote unquote, that I was in order to find real hope, which was her in the rearview mirror, and me looking at my own damn codependent issues and my own, self-esteem issues, so that the nightmare could be over and I could finally wake up to this dream.
Well, I think it's weird. One of the surprising parts of recovery is that, it's a large part of the recovery. I don't think you can recover without doing it. We're so used to being focused on the narcissist, their problems, if only they could change, and on. But really, we need to change. We need to focus on ourselves. Why were we with these people? What was wrong with us? What should we do? What do we deserve? Who am I?
Yeah, it was very easy for me, because the narcissist is just one big problem, and it's very difficult to focus on yourself and your own issues, and even get to the point where my best thinking got me entangled with this damn thing to begin with. And sure, you could be gaslit and manipulated for a couple of weeks and figure it out, but for 20 years, why did I allow this to happen to me? And screw them, they have more issues than a box of Kleenex tissues. What about me? And what do I need to change in me? Because I can't change them or anybody else for that matter.
And just to go back to something I was saying a few minutes ago, how I like to talk about, I know that things can change for you because they changed for me, and Joe kind of touched on it. Joe and I were not in good positions. When I used to read about narcissism or watch videos on narcissism, and I would hear about people that got out, I always thought to myself, well, that won't be me, that can't be me. I believed every single excuse. I didn't think it was an excuse at the time. I thought this was a fact. But I'll say an excuse that I had. Oh, I don't have enough money. I don't have friends. I don't have family. But you guys, that's what we want to talk about in today's video. How to get through it. And the truth is that if you listen to that internal voice in you, if you listen to, I believe it's the Holy Spirit, but maybe you believe it's your intuition. If you do that and take steps every day moving forward, you will be free. Am I right, Joe?
Yeah, and sometimes you got to take 2 steps back to move 3 steps forward. And other times you're just hanging on for dear life. But when you're in enough pain where you cry out to God, even if you don't believe in him, but you're just hoping because it's your last resort, and you replace that quote-unquote relationship with the narcissist with the most important relationship there is out there, which is your creator, and you find that he saves you from this awful, awful, horrible dilemma that you're in, that you must be worth something. And you build upon that relationship and you trust God. And sometimes to get out of your head, what you need to do is just go out and listen to somebody else who has some troubles, or try to help somebody else out to get you out of that mindset that you can't turn the off switch on, and get you to stop thinking for a while. And the days go by and you build momentum, and you're working hand in hand with creating with your creator, and you're inspiring others. And that's the formula to life.
You know, Joe and I will tell you a little bit about our life today, but before we do that, I want to say, you know, this isn't an overnight thing. For me, I mean, a lot of this is in retrospect because I didn't know it at the time, but I know it now, and I can tell you what it was. It took me 4.5 years to leave after, and you know, it took me 4.5 years to leave after I started growing closer to God. But it's not just that, it took a lot of pain for me to leave. My ex tried to get me arrested. That was the reason why I ended the relationship. Not because he was abusing me, not for any other reason. It was because that happened, and something just clicked with me. But for 4.5 years, God was working on me. So for me, this probably sounds weird, I wasn't conscious that this was God, not initially. But when I look back, I can see how he was working in my life. And I started listening to the voice inside of me. I just did things. I don't know why it was. I mean, I guess maybe I do. I guess it was God. But it took 4.5 years. So don't think, well, okay, if it doesn't happen overnight. If you keep following what you know is right, what you just have a gut feeling about, that, Joe and I, that's how we got out.
Yeah, and it takes some patience. It takes a hell of a lot of courage and a lot of prayer, because in the end, it was God doing for me what I couldn't do for myself. It took me getting arrested, falsely accused, getting $30,000 stolen from my account, my car, leaving me with 2 kids, pets, her own mother, the electric off. It took what it had to take. You know, whatever I had to go through, I had to go through to get here. Many people, we don't hear their stories because they're not here anymore. And I get that. I could understand that completely. It's just keep baby steps every day, learning more about narcissism, uncovering maybe the unconnected dots that, holy crap, I'm codependent. Or, oh my God, maybe my mother was a narcissist. Or why did I attract these people? What's wrong with me that I put up with this abuse for so long? And you take the focus off of them and start looking at yourself, and just trust God. He didn't bring you this far to drop you on your head.
The most important thing to remember is that it does take time. You know, Joe was talking about getting arrested, having money stolen. He at one point had the power shut off in his house. For me, I had to call the cops several times to get my ex out of there. He broke into my house. He, shut my house with a gun, loaded gun. These are dangerous things that happened. It took all that. So if you're in the situation, you're thinking, because I would have thought that if I was in the middle of that 4.5 years, and my ex is getting hauled off by the police, and I have Child Protective Services coming over to my house, I would have been like, I just wouldn't think at that time, oh well, this must be the end of it. No, but as time goes on, doors start to open slowly, and then one day you're gonna have walked through that door, and you'll just realize, oh my God, like it's over. I did it. I got out. Because that really, I'm hesitating now because I don't want to tell you what to do, but my personal belief is that you shouldn't stay with a narcissist. And I understand people who want to. I want it to work out. Joe and I both did that for a long time.
Yeah, there's no judgment on anybody. In Sharon's case, her ex, his parents was multi-millionaires. It would have been very easy for her to let him come back in the house. He could live in the basement. His parents are up in age, close to 80s, in the mid 80s. I mean, they didn't have much longer for her then to get the divorce and get half of like $40 million. I mean, that would have been very easy. When I was ready, is when it happened. Like when I was working that relationship with God, the God of my understanding, when I was getting honest with myself, it's just I had to get to a point to become ready. So it took some work, even though when I was with her, I was semi-aware. So we're not judging anyone. It's, for me, it wouldn't be possible to recover from codependency if the manifestation of the codependency, which was the relationship with the narcissist, I was still living in that lie. It's like I was being poisoned every day that I was with her, around her, and I needed space, like complete abstinence eventually, to be able to clear the fog enough to start to have my eyes open up.
Guys, when I was with my ex, even though I stopped being codependent the last couple of years of the entanglement, even with that, and I was living like basically a separate life from my ex. It was the kids, me and the kids, and then my ex. It was almost like we were like two families living in the house together. But even with that, until he was out of that house and I could start living a life not afraid, I couldn't recover. Like, it just wasn't going to happen. I could only get to a certain point, and then that was all I could go. After he was gone, that's when my life changed. And it changed. No, for me, it did kind of happen quickly. I know it doesn't happen, like it didn't happen to Joe that way. It took about 2 months and I was on the road. But at the same time, I was afraid at that point that, and this was part of the reason I even had to move in December, I was afraid my ex was going to push his way back into the house. It didn't happen. I believe that that was God, but I did still have fears, but I was living a real life at that point.
Yeah, there's a plateau that you hit when you're still with them and you're learning about narcissism, and you can only go so far until you make that leap, that leap of faith, and go complete no contact. For me, it was a little different. After I went no contact, it was going pretty good for a while. We had a disillusionment. It was agreed upon settlement, and it was clear I'd keep the kids and the house, and she was given a lump sum of money. Well, she reneged on that, of course, after she got the money, and it's just the gamut began, and the chaos and the drama, and it's been going on now for close to 2 years. So there was some highs at the beginning, then just it's like getting the wind knocked out of you when the renege, and just it was just horrible. But you get back up on your feet and you keep pushing forward. Some days was just hanging on for dear life and building my relationship with God and my faith. Then the next thing I know, like Sharon and I meet, we talk, we become best friends, the soulmates, and then it's goals, and then it's more momentum, and then it's you're on your feet again, ready to kick some ass.
So Joe, why don't we talk a little bit about life today, life after narcissism? Now, with that said, Joe and I we're still in the entanglement. Both of us actually have a court case this week. Mine's tomorrow, Joe's is on Wednesday. But we're living an authentic life without the narcissist.
Yeah, it has purpose and meaning in the movements that we do every day. We look at what we can do and look at what we have as opposed to the setbacks because of these legalities between these idiots. We're looking at it from a different perspective. That subtle shift in perception, the way you see things, affects your attitude. So, like I said, it's goal setting. It's okay. Everything that we need, we have, and sometimes I need to be reminded of that. Do I have everything that I need right now, or do we need to make that decision right now, like today? And another question I ask is it an inconvenience or is it a tragedy? And thank God, 99% of the time, it's just an inconvenience. But yeah, I'm at a job. I started a different career about 4 years ago. It's kind of like stagnant right now, but I get to work from home. It's paying the bills. And once this divorce is over, the legality part, and the same with Sharon, we're going to be in a different situation where we're not going to be held up by anything, and creating a business together and doing different things. It's pretty awesome. The kids are coming around now. My youngest, Sharon's oldest, are really showing signs of like maturity and growth, and just they're splendid to be around, Her youngest, my oldest, a little bit different story. My oldest is struggling pretty bad. He's out there, you guys. He's 21. But I keep him in my prayers. And, Sharon's youngest is a whiz. And he's coming around. I think my youngest son is going to be probably hanging out with him a little bit more and getting his spirits up and stuff.
The thing with my youngest is that, I was telling Joe, I think it's rough for him. And it's rough, I think, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this, where when you have a son and there's no male figure, that's a real issue for the child. My son, he was 12 and 13 years old, and my ex just wasn't there, so he had no father. And then of course COVID hit, so we didn't see people for a while, and it was just literally my son with my daughter and I. So he was always around women, or my friends, more women. It's not they didn't have friends or anything. He had lots of friends. That's part of the problem right now, is that now that he's here, he's in a different state. He doesn't have the desire to meet people. He just doesn't. But you guys, he doesn't know this, but his friends, 5 of his friends are coming out in July. They're going to surprise him. And he's actually, things have been going really well with the kids lately. The 3 that live here, Joe's youngest and my oldest, like he said, they're go-getter superstars. I know they're our kids, but Joe and I say this all the time, God, if we were like that at their age, nothing could stop us. And it's so gratifying to Joe and I, because, when we got together, when we decided to move in together, we wanted to do this. That was something we wanted, but our kids, they had to do it. They didn't have a choice. And to have it work out, it's going really well.
It's been tough. I've been going through this after no contact, and then all her shenanigans for the last 2 years, for a solid year at least. I can't hide my emotions. I try to, but my son knew that I was hurting inside, financially, just angry, upset, and it affected him. And whether we like it or not, we're all interconnected. In my attitude and the way I was, it rubbed off on him, and he was kind of depressed and down. And I hated seeing that, because I knew I was the reason why. Couple that with toxic guilt and all the garbage the narcissist feeds you, and the doubts and all this. It was kind of rough for us both. And this last 6 months or so, now that the winter's passed, my darkest days, God, I hope this is true, are over. He's been coming around now. He was strong the whole time, but his attitude and seeing the smile and being hopeful he's going to be graduating next year and he wants to go into the military, I'm hesitant with that. But God, he's just a good kid, very ambitious and just loving. And Sharon's oldest is a writer, and she's already got plans, and just positive people, man.
And I also see, Joe's son, and I saw this. I saw his youngest go through, I wouldn't say a depression, but there was a sadness to him. And he's out of it now. He has hope in life, and it's incredible. And my son, I can see movement with him as well. It's starting to get better for him. So I do think when his friends come out and when he's hanging out more with Joe's son, that's going to be what he needs. Now that school's over, he's on summer break, he's here, he has some freedom, he's not doing schoolwork all the time. I feel something good with him. Last night, we had a barbecue and all the kids, and it was good. It was a good thing. It was such a happy moment when we've been through so much.
And we're able to disseminate what's important and what's not. We get our kicks off on going on hikes and going for walks and taking the dogs for a walk, and we can only do so much. There's a lot of we're not in the best financial position after getting out with these narcissists, but there's definitely hope right around the corner as far as that's concerned. And we're not piss ass broke. I got a career, and Sharon's got a career, and we're thinking about building a business together. So, as I said, it's not peaches and cream, but it's a hell of a lot better than the way it used to be. And there's some true moments of elation and joy and things that I've never experienced in the last 20 years I've been with this idiot.
Well, it was earlier today, Joe and I were talking, and Joe, I don't know if you were depressed, he was a little bit down, and talking about how, we can't do anything, there's nothing to do. And I said to Joe at one point, I was like, you know what? Right now, if I could do anything that I wanted to do, anything, it wouldn't be going out someplace fancy or buying a bunch of stuff. I just want to be with you. I just want to spend time with you. So money doesn't even matter in a lot of these cases. We ended up going hiking. That is what I would want to do. We can do the things we want. So Joe and I always look at it well, every once in a while we'll have a slip up here and there. Well, I can't do this. I wish we could do this. Like my daughter graduated, and I would have loved to give her like $500 or so. That's what I told Joe. I would love to have been able to do that for her. But instead we bought her gold earrings, and she's so happy with these gold earrings, and the thing is as well, like she's been wearing them like literally every day. Joe got her this card, and she loved the card. She told me that it was making her teary-eyed, and she said, I think it's because I never had like a father figure, do anything for me other than sign his name under something you wrote. To have somebody care, like the things that we're able to give our children, it's better than $500, it's better than a lot of things that we wish that we could do. We do have everything that we need. It's just a perspective, instead of looking at it as, oh, we don't have this, or we don't have that, or I can't do this. It's, we get to do this. We have what we need.
The days of excuses are over. I mean, we're not 20 or 30, like justifying anything for, as a result of our attitude or why we feel this way. I mean, justification is the maker of excuses. It's, what are you going to do about it? We're trying to focus on the solution. We lived the problem. I mean, my best thinking got me entangled and allowed myself to be abused for well over 20 years. There was childhood issues and things that I didn't ever take a look at that, in a weird way, it was a blessing. This would happen because it opened Pandora's box, and from there I was able to see the codependency and my own issues that I had, so I don't have to get with another narcissist, or it was just, I became that much more awakened. I mean, I always wanted to remember, like, who am I really behind my name and underneath this flesh, and where am I going when I die, and what am I here to do? And it's not about Joe, it's about people's lives that you touch, where it's just a fleeting moment that we're here. What am I going to do about it? Am I going to lay down? Am I going to get off my ass and be grateful for what has happened? So some of you that may be out there that may feel like you're not in a position to be able to do anything, there are little baby steps and things that you can do. It's just taking those baby steps. I was in enough pain where I had to cry out for God. I built that relationship and focused on my own issues and my part in this whole damn thing, and began to trust him, became less focused on the ex, and like try to get out of myself by maybe helping somebody else or inspiring somebody else or listening to somebody else's problems instead of my own head, and the voices, they call it the committee in my head, the itty bitty committee in my head.
Yeah, for both of us, we listened to what we thought was right. We listened to that instead of always thinking, well, I can't do this, I can't do that. Because the reality is that Joe and I were not in a good position. We weren't in a good position. I used to watch videos on narcissism or read about it, and people that got out, I always thought, well, they have something I don't have. And I believed that, I can't do it. Like, apparently I'm very unique and special, and I can't get out, but other people can. That is not the truth. It is not true. And I know some of you might be thinking to yourself, yeah, well, you have Joe. You got to go to Joe's house. The reality with that, and I love Joe more than anything, but we got together because I had already done work. He had already done work. If we hadn't done the work individually, there would be no us. How could there be? It wouldn't have worked. Once you do the work, it takes time. It does take time. Doors open, and if you keep following those open doors, that's when you get to have reality, like a good reality, a good life.
Yeah, you can see that dream you thought and all your dreams were broken was nothing more than a nightmare. And what you thought you knew, and as I say, my best thinking got me entangled with this thing for 20 years. I now realize that I don't always know what's best for me, and that's so important to have God in my life and to follow the voice, the inner voice that I ignored when those red flags went up 20 years ago.
Well, that's the truth. I think all of us, I'm sure most of us anyways, when I look back, I cannot tell you, oh God, he was completely had me tricked. I had no idea, like there were no red flags at all. There were many, many red flags. I chose to ignore them. I think the truth is that I didn't want to see them. Now, in a million years, I wouldn't do that. You learn as time, as you do your recovery, you learn what's really important in life.
The shadow work and the insight and the rigorous honesty necessary to look at your part, you start to take responsibility for your part in it. And there's a fine line, because then that could turn, if you're not healthy, and if you don't have any kind of conscious contact with God, that could turn into like toxic guilt and shame, and then you start beating yourself up, and what have I done to my kids, and this and that. You know, it turns out that I had to forgive the narcissist, and then the most important person I had to forgive was myself. And now I had to accept it. The narcissist is just being a narcissist, just like a snake's a snake, a dog's a dog, a cat's a cat. Enough with that. Like, I've got enough issues of my own, and I have like unlimited growth. It's up to how bad do I want to, and just how bad do I want to grow and change, and I need God to do that. And if I'm going to live, I'm not going to live like I did before, and I'm not going to live miserable in no contact. I want to be okay. You know, I don't have to be extremely happy, but I definitely need to be in a different place than I am right now if I want to keep breathing.
Oh, 100%. I mean, there's really, when you think about it, if you're not going to have a good life, you might as well stay with a narcissist. I mean, you know what I mean?
What's the whole point? You know,
Yeah.
and that's where the relapse comes in. Is just I realized that after a few months of no contact, I asked myself, why am I still miserable? If the narcissist is the problem and the problem's out, then what the hell is the real problem then if you're so miserable? And that's when that, you know, the rabbit hole opened, and I was like, holy crap, I got to dig deeper here. What the hell is going on with me? I learned about my codependency, and I substituted a relationship, quote unquote relationship with the narcissist, with a relationship with God, because I was in enough pain to cry out for help. Then I found that he's the one that was going to help me and save me, and has been watching me the whole time. And how cool is that when, like, your own creator, you know, because this is the spiritual experience, you know that you didn't get yourself out of this jackpot on your own, that God did. Then your prayers, instead of God please help me, God please save me, is God, what can I do for you? And then
100%.
And then he answers what you do all the time, Sharon, is feed my sheep. And what we're here to do, like two attributes of our creator, two divine attributes, to inspire and to create. And we try to inspire and create you guys, each other, our children, because as I said at the beginning, whether we like it or not, we're all interconnected. Like, when I'm feeling down or depressed, I'm affecting other people. It's my job to be the best me I can be. And I have to hold myself accountable, because whether I like it or not, this life ain't about Joe.
You know, I tell Joe all the time, you know, one of the most important things to me is for me to be the best person that I can be, because that's for everybody. That's for me, it's for Joe, it's for our kids, it's for, you know, people at work, everybody. When you are authentically you and you really try and live that way, like I really try to live that way every day. I talk to God constantly. I'm always like thinking, okay, how can I be today? What am I going to do today? What I try to do is tell myself, all right, everybody that lives in the house with me, I need to make everybody smile today. That's like something I try to do every single day. I set these little goals because, like Joe said, life isn't about Sharon. It's not, you know, that's how, you know, ironically, that's how it was with the narcissist. You know what I mean? I'm unhappy. My narcissist, my husband, he's making me unhappy. Why is he doing this? The real truth is that you are in control of your own life. And what can you do to help other people? When I know, and at the end of the day, I say, all right, I made both my kids smile. I made Joe's son smile. I made Joe smile. All right, and have I followed what I believe God is telling me to do? Yes. All right, good. All right, I'm ready for tomorrow. Now, that doesn't always happen. Sometimes I'll be in a mood, or who knows, I'll snap at Joe, whatever. But then I don't beat myself up. I say, okay, what can I learn from this? Now, like Joe and I had an argument a couple weeks ago, and and it was really affecting me. And I said to Joe, like, the next day, I was like, I learned something from that. I really did. And to this day, like, when you learn something, when you take the time to understand and learn and grow, everything changes, your whole world.
When you get to the mindset, when you're finally trying to be part of the solution and you try to help other people in some way, shape, or form, God will take care of you. You know, and the narcissist viewpoint is competition to try to be better than you. our viewpoint is competition with ourselves to be the best us we can be, the way God wanted us always to be. And I think that for me, in my experience and the way I see things, is it was my codependency that manifested into many bad decisions based on fear and low self-worth. Had it not been for this entanglement with the narcissist, I would have been walking around asleep. I'm not awakened, like woke like a Buddhist monk, but then again, I ain't hiding out in Tibet on a mountain away from society. Like, I'm in the grind, in the grunge front lines, and I'm a little bit more conscious than I was yesterday. And I remember who I truly am and where I'm going when I walk through that door to the other side, wherever that may be.
Joe and I are very conscious about living the best life that we can. And the truth is that without the narcissist, we wouldn't be where we are today. Like, there's no way.
I guess in a way, even the fool, God has purposes even for the fools, whether they realize it or not. And, I'm grateful that we have empathy, we have insight, we have the ability to be honest, because with a great deal of pain, because pain was a catalyst for me, we do have the ability to change and grow. Some people are stuck in that groove, like narcissists, like a groove in a record player. Every time you play that record, that groove's there, and they're just in Twilight Zone, man. They're just Groundhog's Day every day. And, it's the narcissist being the narcissist. Now I know, just don't judge, don't do nothing, just stay the hell away. Steer clear of the category F5 tornado.
Joe and I both have learned that when you do what you're supposed to do and you look for red flags and you live authentically, God can make good things out of bad things, and God will put the right people in your life. Like, you'll be, like what Joe said that a minute ago, he's right. If you take care of other people, God's going to take care of you. He's going to make sure you're surrounded by the right people, that you have I always tell Joe, the way that I feel about Joe, I'm just like, I said to Joe, I love you so much, and it's like, I feel that God stuffed me jam full of love, so it's easy to love you. Like I said, it's almost like if your kid was going out and they asked you for $10, and instead you gave them $100,000, like way more than they need. So what I like to do, because I have so much love in me, and I don't know if it's just because I was deprived for so long, I want to spread that to everybody that I can, everybody that I meet. And Joe benefits the most from this, Joe and our kids. But, everybody that I meet, I want them to see God when they meet me. I have lost so much time, and I'm really motivated and inspired to try to be the best that I can. And when I do that, God gives me everything that I need.
Yeah, he's the master of making lemonade out of lemons, for sure.
100%. So I hope this helps. We really just wanted to talk tonight. We're so sick of the narcissist, and Joe and I, we're trying to live our best authentic lives, and that's the answer. I mean, that's how we both got better. We both started not focusing on the narcissist, not focusing on our own pain, but focusing on healing and being the best that we can be, and spreading love to the people that are in our life. I said to Joe, there's nothing I would want more than being with Joe and our kids. Like, literally nothing. No money in the world, no nothing. So I'm not going to pretend that I don't feel that way. That's how I feel, and I want to live that way and make the people that I live with, the people that I love, have the best life that they can live.
No, I agree 100%. And I definitely, I'll bear witness to that fact, that everything Sharon talks about in her videos on her channel definitely is, she's the real deal, sure.
All right, guys. So I guess that's it. Joe told me that he wanted to watch a movie tonight, that all I had to do was agree to that, and he would do the video. So now it's my turn to fulfill my end of the bargain.
I was doing the video anyways. I was just trying to kind of get a little bit of something in there so I could do it tonight too. But no, I was going to do the video anyways. This is good for me, guys. I'm definitely an empath, but I'm selfish and self-centered, and sometimes I like to do nothing and waste my time. But doing this is definitely vital for my recovery. So I at least want to do this once a week with Sharon.
All right, there you have it. I have it on film now. So So thank you guys. So tomorrow I have my big court date. I will probably do an update, not a video, but I'll probably do something on the community page, at least let you know if it's a thumbs up or thumbs down. But I'm not afraid. I'm like cool with it. Like I'm in a really good position because if you watch my last video, I mentioned I literally don't care. So it's really the best place to be. Joe has his court date on Wednesday, and my son's birthday is Tuesday. He's going to be 16. So I will see you, oh gosh, the day after, when my son is already 16, the day after Joe's big court date. So I hope you guys think of us, say a little prayer for us, and we will see you next week, and I will see you on Wednesday. God bless.
God bless, guys. Love you.